Okay, I'm going to count us down.
Okay.
It is hard to not constantly want to fix your hair, though.
No, I know.
I'm like,
tried
my
not
right
to.
boob's out. And then it's like, how's your,
I got on Spanx, so.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll be fine.
yeah. It takes a lot to hold all this
Yeah,
in.
it's not very comfy, though.
No,
It's
Okay,
not.
we're counting down. 3, 2, 1. And we're back.
We are.
Not a single fork this episode with Tess Maune from Channel 6, our CBS affiliate here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm Candace.
I'm Natalia.
And this is just another podcast about food and cooking, but we're keeping it real.
Real. So what are we talking about today?
So episode 1, if you didn't, or episode 1, it's actually episode
2 of
250. But our first episode with Tess, we talked about foraging in the woods.
Yes.
So morel mushrooms and poke, salad, and all those kinds of things.
Salad.
Yeah,
Not salad.
Which I'm just like poke salad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what everyone says.
Yeah.
So I always thought it was a salad.
Yeah.
My mom was like, "Oh no,
Every time I Google it, I'm reminded that
It's
it's
not
it's
salad.
not a salad.
It's not a salad.
Yeah. So lots of things that you can discover in the woods in Oklahoma.
Uh-huh.
But now the other half of this, because Tess is quite the outdoors woman and is a reporter for the wildlife and outdoors area in Oklahoma at Channel 6. We're going to talk about hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also
I
have
love
another
that.
question about that title.
Okay.
Are you the only person that does that?
No, I mean, I'm the one who focuses most on it, but
Okay.
I don't do daily stories anymore with my morning schedule shift. So if there's an important outdoor story that needs to be done, I mean,
Then that's you.
Yeah, because you might, we have a crime reporter, but other reporters do crime. So it's not exclusive to me. I just do a lot of them. And I have some specific segments for outdoors.
And how long have you been with the station?
11 years.
Oh, God.
Yeah, over
Okay, that's
11
a long
years.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've
Okay.
been doing the outdoor, like kind of designated as outdoor reporter, probably, I mean, pretty much from the big.
Was there
pretty
someone
close
else
to
that
the
did that
beginning.
before you, or did they make that spot for you?
No one did it
Oh,
really
okay.
before me. I mean, we would do some stories. Craig Day would do some stories outdoors, but and that's one of our main anchors, but not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. It's fascinating.
But I think it's, you get somebody who has an interest in these different spots.
Sure.
And then if you can find ways to cover the things that, interest you, and they're usually like lighter stories.
Well, and you've got a really great following on social media. So do you think that a lot of it has to do with your outdoors reporting
I
and that
think
kind of
there's
thing? Because
definitely
there's so much of that.
There's a lot of interest in that. And I feel like, in Oklahoma, especially, you've got, you may not hunt, but you might know somebody
I
who
know.
does.
Everybody I know does.
So everybody
Yeah.
hunts. So you're still interested
Right.
in it, even if you don't do it. And so I think that helps me connect a lot with the viewers. Because they are like, oh, okay, she's just doing what we do. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah.
A huntress.
yes. I just say hunter, but
So you hunt everything.
I hunt. I mean, everything that you can hunt in Oklahoma, I'm willing to give it a try if there's a reason for it. If I don't, have a reason to hunt it, like to eat, or because it's a predator and we need to, kind of get it out of the area that we're hunting or whatever, it might protect.
Because
it.
there's like the feral pigs are invasive.
Oh goodness, yes.
Do you
Yeah.
eat those?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can. I think they're pretty strong.
We-
though, aren't they?
so-
the meat.
They can be. We typically, if we kill a big one, we won't eat it. But smaller ones and smaller sows, like, oh yeah, that meat's great.
Is it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're super aggressive.
And is that like on your property? Like in your home? Like, do they come up to your door? Like, explain this to me.
Feral hogs. So I've done several stories about feral hogs, and it's estimated there are probably about 1 million in Oklahoma.
Okay.
And they're in every county, and they are extremely invasive, and they just are tearing up property. So they're not in Tulsa, but I mean, in some of the more rural communities, yes, I know somebody who had wild hogs root up their grass up into their back porch.
What do they eat?
Everything.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
going to say
okay.
everything.
And
Okay.
they will, they're harmful to our actual wildlife. Feral pigs are not considered wildlife because they're not native and they're so invasive.
So where did they come from? Someone brought over a pig and
Pretty much.
then
There's
they
a
all
long
just had
history with
babies
them. Yeah.
do they eat? Are they carnivores?
They will eat. Yes, they will eat. Maybe a deer fawn, or
a deer. I was thinking a squirrel.
no, I don't. That's not their primary food source. But
so humans should be scared.
but they will eat.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
I mean, they could. They can be aggressive, but most likely, if you come across a hog, it's going to sniff you out before you even know it's there and be gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you killed one
Oh yeah.
with a gun?
Yes.
You don't go out with your knife. And
I heard of one
I've
guy
not done
who
that.
jumped on the back of a feral hog and
Yeehaw.
stabbed it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so they do.
it's a thing.
That's a thing.
It's a thing. I knew that.
They hunt them with dogs,
Yeah.
and they get them kind of cornered, and somebody will go in and
Yeah.
stab them.
So what I know,
I've never done that.
what I know of these creatures is from like TV and movies because I don't live in the woods. And does it take multiple shots to kill this thing? Is it like it seems very.
Depends on what.
I was
kind of
gonna
shot
say,
it is.
I know. But
How
like,
good you are.
you have to shoot it in a certain spot to get it down. Like, tell us about
Sure.
that.
Well, that's with any animal.
Okay.
Though. I mean, you want to get them in their heart or their lungs,
Okay.
Preferably. So
Less pain,
and
kind of
quicker
death.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
for sure. And you're going to find them quicker. And if you hit them in another spot, they may live. And
So you have
and
to shoot
even
them
though
multiple
they're
times.
no, I'm typically just shoot them one time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no matter how big they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, so like there's nighttime hog hunting where you can do it like with a scope that's either thermal or night vision. And in those cases, sometimes people will unload a lot because they want to just try to get as many as they can. It's not necessarily because they made a bad shot. But honestly, so while hunting things can be fun and there's a lot of adrenaline, the greatest way, because Oklahoma and really the country needs to do something to eradicate wild hogs.
Right.
And hunting is not the answer for that. Trapping is, or aerial hog hunt. So people hunt hogs from helicopters. USDA has a program where they go out to different properties and,
Wow.
they'll take out,
That's
a couple
a fun-
hundred.
That's a movie.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've never done it, but
There was a story of, I don't know if it was on 6, but it was they were trapping
yeah,
feral
it
hogs.
was
And
my
then what do
story.
you do
Was
with
it
them?
your- Yeah.
That was my story. I did that story.
That was me. So you trap them and then what?
Yeah, my husband, he just trapped 6 this morning, in fact.
What do you do with them?
So you shoot them and you can eat them.
Oh, okay.
Or you can discard them. I mean,
Okay, you're not like-
They kind of bundle them off somewhere.
and
to-
yeah, so I mean, I know somebody who traps hogs, and there's a family that loves them, and so she will load them up and take them to this family, and then they take them and they eat them.
And they eat them.
Yeah.
So a wild hog, which is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Wild boar,
Yes,
wild hog.
yes. Mhm.
That's different from a pig. I'm thinking
Like
like
a domestic.
do you cook it differently? Do you have to do different things to it? Is it a different?
Well, one thing that is super important is you want to wear gloves anytime you're cleaning or dealing with wild hog meat. So like even when you're dressing it out, you want to have gloves on because they carry disease that you could, like if you had a cut or something that you needed, brucellosis, I think is what it's called. And so you obviously don't want that, but you cook it out. If you cook your meat properly, it's.
And does it taste like pork? Or is it tough, or is it gamey, or is
so
it?
if you were to keep and everybody has a different opinion on this, okay?
Sure.
So like I could say it to one person, they'd be like, "No, I like those big hogs, and they're tasty
Yeah.
good, whatever." But in my opinion, the larger boars, they are rank, they are stinky, and they are going to taste like they smell, and there's nothing that you can do to fix that meat. Now, there might be 100 people on this who hear it and say, "She's wrong. You can cook that out, whatever." Maybe you can.
Right.
I don't know how to do that.
Soak it in buttermilk or something.
I've heard people say that.
I mean, really.
yeah.
But to me, the smaller ones, because there's little ones too, and I know some people have a hard time with that. But like
We
those
don't.
little, okay. Well, you guys
they're gonna-
probably do
We-
like
we-
veal.
yeah,
and,
we cook all kinds of meat.
So
Yeah.
the
It's
smaller
dead, yeah.
ones, you throw that in a crock pot. It's
Yeah.
very good meat. Yeah,
Very.
yeah,
Yeah.
Sweet
Chili
suckling,
verde.
sweet suckling pig.
yeah. It's good. It's good stuff.
So it is the same as pork. So it's the same as pork. It's not any
Sure.
different.
Yeah,
it's a pig. It's
yeah.
a pig.
And it may somebody who doesn't eat wild meat might think it has a little bit of a game taste, but I don't notice that with it.
Do you eat a lot of it?
Yeah, I mean, if we have pig, I think we have some meat in our freezer right
Okay.
now. So yeah,
So that's the pig.
That's the pig.
That's
What
the
else?
pig.
What else do we hunt?
Deer, turkey. We went on a bear hunt, unsuccessful.
In Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma. Duck, dove, pheasant, quail. I've hunted quail, but I've never seen a quail out. There's not many of them. Bobcats, raccoons, coyotes.
Have you eaten all of these things?
I
Did you
have
eat a bobcat?
I did not eat the bobcat.
Did you kill it?
Yes.
Do you not want to talk about it?
Well, they're pretty, but it's a predator.
It's a wild animal.
It's a predator.
It's fine. Yeah.
And I think everything has a place, and that you don't want to kill them all. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
And there's a season for trapping.
So you ate the bobcat?
Did not eat the bobcat.
Oh.
But we did skin it. People, there used to be trappers who would trap for fur and things like that. The market's
Did
not
you eat a
so big.
raccoon?
I haven't eaten a raccoon either. So the raccoon and the bobcat and the coyote.
I know a place where you can. It would be like fishing in a bucket.
Oh, for raccoons.
For raccoons.
Oh gosh, that's
Oh my God,
anywhere in the state.
Everywhere.
Well,
yes, but
we just happened to be at a dinner the other night that we were cooking for, and we're standing out on the back porch.
I opened the back. It was kind of warm.
Uh-huh.
We were right by that door. I opened the back door. It was a lovely evening. Get some fresh air. We've been cooking. We've been working. And I was facing Candace, and I was talking to her. And then I turned around, and I was like, what is that? Because I think they said they had a cat.
Yeah.
And it was massive. And I was like, that's a massive cat. And it was a raccoon. And it was coming. Candace was like, close the door. You need to close the door immediately.
There's food there.
Because, no, they feed them.
They feed the raccoons.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why do people do that? We don't understand because they're
don't.
trash pandas. Like, they're just what?
You don't want to, I mean,
Can they rip your face
once
off
you do
too?
it, they're going to just keep
come
on coming
back.
back.
Yeah, these things.
No, they like
these
live
are-
there and they're massive.
They do.
It looked like a bobcat.
They keep a food bowl out for it.
Oh,
Like she was complaining that her mom doesn't even get the good raccoon food.
Well,
What does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
I don't know.
Okay.
I cannot answer that. But so no, I've not eaten any of those.
Would you
squirrel-
recommend that people feed their raccoon?
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I thought that was kind of a bad choice.
We thought, especially in the
In
city,
town.
In the
in
city.
the town.
Yeah.
Like it's not like
Midtown. This is Midtown.
oh, it was
Yeah.
like 2 streets over.
Well, they can carry disease and things like that.
Yeah,
So,
and they will kill you if you
They'll
you
scratch your
corner
face
them.
off. Yeah.
I've never been, faced
You ever
with
been
that.
attacked with an animal by an animal?
No,
Oh.
no, I haven't. I know. I
Now she's disappointed.
I don't have
I
any
thought we were
story.
gonna have a good story.
Maybe
Squirrel,
next
too.
time.
So
Did you eat a squirrel?
No. So okay, squirrel and rabbit. My husband just says is really good, and I've not.
Why not rabbit? You've never eaten rabbit?
Mm-mm.
Oh, rabbit is
No,
good.
I've eaten rabbit. I've never eaten wild rabbit.
Okay.
So I've had the opportunity to hunt rabbits, but they are so cute.
Is that
I have a couple in my backyard. I'd be happy.
Wait a minute. So the rabbit that you've eaten, you didn't think was cute?
Oh, I'm sure it was cute. I just didn't see it.
Oh, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but my husband, he's hunted rabbits and
Okay.
they've eaten it before. And I mean, apparently, the wild rabbit.
But is that kind of a no-no for you?
I
Is that on
haven't.
your
I'm
list
not
of
there
no-nos?
yet.
She thinks
Okay.
it's Thumper.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's
I know.
the deal with
and-
squirrels? Are they cute too?
No, I've hunted a squirrel.
But have you eaten it?
I didn't eat it.
It's kind of weird.
I've
Yeah,
heard the
just-
squirrel is
I've
good.
heard it's good.
Good eating.
It's good. Yeah, I've
never
heard
eaten a
that.
squirrel.
I've
Probably
only
tastes
got.
like
I've only
chicken.
gotten one squirrel.
Really? You want to
Yeah.
come to my backyard?
I
It's
mean,
like
yeah.
a sanctuary.
They're like dogs
Yeah,
out here.
I know.
You
It's
can
insane.
But squirrel hunting is a good way to introduce people to hunting.
because
Yeah.
there's so many
more,
of them.
and it's fun, and you can kind of be, it's a little more
They're
interactive.
nasty little animals.
They're little
Yeah,
assholes.
yeah.
So, dove.
Dove,
Did
yes.
you eat that?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
What does dove taste like?
Dove?
Chicken?
I don't know. I'm like the worst. It tastes like dove. I don't know.
I mean, does it
And
taste
so-
very different from another bird?
It does. It's much better than duck.
Okay.
Yeah, much better than duck. You
Wild-
guys
wild
like that?
duck.
Wild duck.
We
I
love
don't-
duck,
I don't
but
know about wild
duck's
duck
a little
is
different, huh?
It's a little strong.
Yeah.
It can be very strong.
Yeah.
Now, does your husband cook all this meat, or do you?
So he generally does most of the cooking, which
Okay.
he thought it was hilarious that you guys asked me on this.
This
He was
is like food and cooking.
Yeah.
Not
She's-
just cooking.
Listen, husband, she still goes out with you and gets the
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
come
right.
on,
Yeah.
you need her there with you. So you dove. Okay.
duck.
What else did
and
you
then
say?
Duck.
Duck.
So duck, and we always make duck fajitas. We've never had duck any other way.
Do you like it that way, or is it still kind of gamey?
I do like it that
okay.
way. I mean, because you can put a lot of stuff with
And
it.
kind of cover the.
Because now I named a few things that we will hunt that we don't eat, but we really like to eat. If we're gonna
That's
hunt
the
it,
purpose of
we
it,
like
right? Yeah.
yes,
Kind of
yes.
use all of the
Yeah.
Not
animal.
just
Yeah.
willy-nilly.
Yeah, of course.
shooting shit
And
up.
then
No,
the
because then you
other-
could just kill your husband.
I would never.
We would never do that.
But the other things are more. It's predator control,
Right.
So
Right.
Deer. Deer is obviously
Deer's kind of a common thing here.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
common. Like
Yeah.
you could hit one with your car.
And we, I mean, when I say the term fill the freezer is overused probably, but we truly, during deer season, that is what we do. We fill our freezer with deer meat, and that is what we eat, hopefully
winter.
all year. Yeah.
Is that your favorite meat that you hunt?
Turkey.
Turkey.
Turkey's my favorite.
Okay.
Or I like fish too, but like as far as just like
We haven't
the
gotten to that
the
yet.
bigger
I'm
game.
holding my
Yeah,
tongue on
yeah,
fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wild turkey is my very, very favorite. But I love a chicken fried deer steak too.
Okay.
How does wild turkey compare to domesticated turkey?
So I think it's more juicy and it's more flavorful.
Okay.
Yeah. And you might get some tougher pieces because it's a wild bird,
Yeah.
but you could probably hammer that out. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just
Hammer
much.
that out.
Hammer that.
Take that.
I was going to say, well,
Yeah.
I'll just say, hammer that out.
Yeah.
What's the right tenderize?
No,
I like it. Yeah.
Tenderize it. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
I liked it.
Yes. Yeah. Now, my favorite thing on a deer, though, is the backstrap.
Yes.
And you cook that like a tenderloin. It is a tenderloin.
Mhm.
And you cook it just like you roast it, or you can. And actually, I had elk backstrap
Mhm.
too, because out where my boyfriend lives,
Uh-huh.
they've hit elk with the cars.
Where does he live?
He lives in Braggs.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, you would.
So out by Camp
Camp
Gruber.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the elk have been on the highways apparently,
Mhm.
and a couple of people, and so they just.
It's my favorite thing because that means Candace is eating roadkill.
It tasted like filet mignon. No, it was really good. It was
Yeah.
delicious meat. The elk was.
And elk is it a little sweeter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would never know. You would
Because
never
deer
know.
can be gamey, can't it?
It can
Yeah,
be
yeah,
gamey.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll tell you this too. So, you hunt bucks and does, and obviously the bucks are the boys. But if you get a buck, so you're hunting a lot of times during the rut, which is like mating season. It's called rut. And so they're kind of,
Sexy.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, they
And
think
they're in their sexy brain.
They think
There
they're
are lots of
sexy.
testosterone.
They're in
Yes.
their testosterone.
Yes.
That's why I thought, sorry, back to the wild pigs. I thought they were like full of testosterone, which made them taste like gamey. But that's just a movie I watched, I guess. Go ahead.
And that
Yeah.
might be true too.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
know if they stink. Because
they're full of
Stinky
testosterone.
boys.
yeah, and the boars probably are just constantly. But so deer have the a certain time of year where they're rutting, and there's like a peak rut for a deer. And like if you get a buck on that peak rut, you can smell it, and they're peeing on their legs. That's how they're communicating.
Yeah,
with different smells and things like that. So like you can see their like it'll be dark on their legs.
And you can taste it.
We have had one deer that was so gamey that it was tough for us to eat.
Yeah.
It was just like
Just full of piss.
it just tastes. That's what. Yeah, I mean, it tasted like it smelled.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
bad.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's not. And we
You field
Okay.
dress though, right?
we field dress the deer, and then my husband processes everything. And so we have.
Did you do that at home?
We do it all at home. I help him some, but he does most of the work.
Is there a whole other building at your house for this?
No, we just have a little
In your living
grinder.
room?
He would just do it in the kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah, he just has a we.
Oh,
we
just
cut,
a little meat
so
grind-
we
you cut
so
it into little
we
pieces.
quarter
It's
the
like
deer up.
Silence of the Lambs.
Do you eat the heart
I have eaten deer heart, but I
on
don't
purpose? Or
typically-
like when you kill it, you cut its heart out and you like eat it?
yeah, just like
Rah. Yeah.
like vampires?
No, I have had prepared deer heart before.
Okay. That you
I didn't prepare it. It was at a deer camp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
It's
it was
camp for this.
It wasn't good. It was good. It was
Uh-huh.
not bad at all, actually. But
No.
oh yeah, so we process it. Yeah, so we have a grinder, and we'll grind to have ground deer meat. And then sometimes he'll do like
How big is the grinder?
like
It's not like a tabletop. It's not like what my grandmother used to use to like make sausage, right? Is it?
it's like that, but it's
the
electric.
same.
But it's electric. Is
Yeah.
it bigger? It's big.
It's like it's probably like this big.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
it's not giant.
Okay.
we'll pack it up in the box and put it in the pantry. But yeah, so and then
we come to your
sometimes
house next time?
Yeah. Let's see all your
see
stuff.
all of our toys. It's
Yeah.
not that exciting, but and sometimes he'll season, like we have deer Italian sausage in the fridge right now, or in the freezer, and then deer breakfast sausage, which is really good. And then we'll usually do an entire deer just for jerky.
So are you like on the couch drinking champagne and your husband's like in the kitchen,
Well, it
like
just depends on who you ask.
grinding meat, and you're like trying to watch a TV show and you're like, can you turn the meat grinder down? Like, does that happen?
It depends. Yeah. I mean, so like this year there was one meat processing day where I had to go to bed because I had to go to work.
So early.
And so he was in the kitchen grinding meat, and I was like laying in the bed and just kind of watching him. But I do try to help, obviously.
Yeah.
My job is typically, and here's the thing, he is like very meticulous about the way he does all
If he's done it
stuff.
his whole life, I'm
Like,
sure he is.
He doesn't want me to. I mean,
Right.
you know, he was just like, let me just do it. It'll get done faster and it'll be done right. So my job is to do
I never say that.
is to do the food saver. So I put all the meat into the bags, and then
You like the food saver?
freeze it.
I mean, you couldn't
have-
live without it, could you?
Well,
with all
we
that
have
meat.
this other brand that we do not like, and we need to get a food saver. Our food saver broke, so we got a different one, and it's
Not
not
so good.
Not as good.
No.
So what's the one you like? Do you have a?
we like food
called-
saver.
Oh, it's
The
called Food Saver.
Yeah.
The Food Saver brand.
Yeah.
Okay, not the knockoff.
Yeah, so there's lots of hunting in Oklahoma, obviously, but there's also lots of fishing. And my mother had a house at Grand Lake, and crappie was the thing all summer long, and cleaning crappie and eating crappie, and the way you fry it. And she liked to boil it, so it'd be like crappie cocktail, because you do like a shrimp cocktail, it'd be like a crappie.
And they have that white flake.
Doesn't it
Yeah.
fall apart and then it's just crappie soup?
No, it's just
like
just
crappie
little
and
pieces
water?
of crappie.
Okay.
Just little pieces of crappie. But then there's another type of
Okay,
fishing.
so wait, let's talk about fishing. Do you fish now?
Yes.
Do you still use hot dogs?
We have fished with hot dogs, yes.
And what do you catch with hot dogs?
like catfish.
I was gonna
There's
say
like
carp.
catfish and- yeah. Like,
When you go fishing, do you have it on your property or do you go somewhere else?
we go to like the lake or to a pond. Like my husband's family has land. We live in a house, in
You don't live in a
neighborhood.
teepee in the woods?
No, we
Because
live
it
in,
sounds like it.
we live
I'm
in-
not gonna lie.
I wish we lived in the woods, but no, we
You have a
live in a
neighborhood.
house in a neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah. But we really want land
Yeah.
to live on. But his family has ponds, and we have a lot of friends who have land who will let us come on and fish and stuff like
So
that.
when you fish, what do you fish for?
Typically crappie, like this time of year
Okay.
for sure, crappie. And then sometimes we're just like, sand bass. We like to sand bass when they're doing their spawning run.
Is that different from regular bass?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Well, there's several
there's
varieties
different-
of
bass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kinda like
Sand
salmon.
bass is a white bass,
Okay.
and it's our state fish.
Oh, well, there you go, folks.
It's Oklahoma state fish.
Yeah,
Sand bass.
Sand bass.
Yes. So, and then sometimes we just go just to fish for whatever's biting.
And do you like to eat the fish?
Yeah. I mean, I throw back everything if we're not going to eat it that day.
Mhm.
Or if we're thinking, okay, we've got something that we want fish. We've got some fish in the freezer. So we,
You seem like you've got a lot of
Catch
meat
we
to
feel like,
release. Yeah.
we feel like, you can only have so much. So we'll release. And then if we need
sure.
to stock
You
back
go
up,
back.
then-
Yeah.
Fish are easier than like hunting deer.
Yeah. Because that's a certain time. Is fish a certain time of year?
Well, some of them
Well,
run,
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like there's no seasons specifically for fish, but just as far as like, there are times of year where it's better than others.
So is it time now to get into the?
Yes, you may.
We're going to talk about noodling.
Yeah.
Can you explain? Because
Explain to our listeners.
there are probably listeners outside of Oklahoma or maybe inside of Oklahoma
Mm-hmm.
that don't know what that is.
Okay. I know. I'm always surprised because there are a lot of Oklahomans who are like, "What?"
Yeah,
And you explain it. So noodling is
and it doesn't help when you explain it.
where you catch catfish using just your hands, and you go into a lake, a river, a creek, and you find them in rock holes. Maybe it might be under a boat ramp, and that's kind of maybe washed out a little bit. And catfish are spawning under those places.
Okay.
And you catch them.
So
And you
you
stick your hand.
You stick
let's
your-
wait a minute. You stick your hand inside the mouth of a catfish. What do you grab onto?
Or sometimes the catfish sticks his mouth on your hand.
Right.
You grab their lip.
You grab the lip. Oh, so you don't go like in and grab like their tonsils. That's what I envision.
You could. I think you could.
Now,
but you're supposed to just grab them by the lip and yank them out. So can you see what you're doing? I have so many questions.
No, you cannot.
Answer all of them.
Okay. And I've worn goggles before thinking like, oh, I'll keep my, well, you couldn't see anyway. It wouldn't matter. It's murky water.
Yeah.
But I close my eyes. It just feels more comfortable for me, even if I have goggles on. So yes, typically I go for grabbing the lip. Now you asked, do you stick your hand down their throat?
Yeah.
There are times that you might have to, if you have a wild fish that's just really like thrashing back and forth, you might have to kind of go farther back to to push them down to the bottom just to get them to stop thrashing, because that takes a little bit of their power away. So yes, sometimes that will happen.
Okay, now here's the important question. Why do you do this?
Do you eat them?
Some.
So you just do this for fun?
I mean, it's just like,
does it scratch up your arm?
Like
do they have teeth? Like what?
So you think of like bass fishermen. I mean, they're going in, they're hooking fish, they're catching them, and then they're releasing them.
Yeah,
this is the same thing, just with
more excitement.
Yeah,
yeah. Do they have teeth?
They have. It's like sandpaper.
So it rips your arm off.
It's just like sandpaper.
So it's like a carpet burn.
Kind of like a carpet burn. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly.
Every time.
Well, I wear sleeves.
And then you say, I want to go do more.
Yeah.
Explain this.
And
I want to do it over and over and over again.
Okay, so you wear long gloves so that this doesn't happen.
Because since I'm on air, when I first started noodling, I was, catching fish and I was getting, we call it chewed up.
Yeah.
I was getting chewed up on my arms and my hands, and I was having to wear things to cover it up because, it was like scabbing over.
That's disgusting.
It was gross and it's distracting.
So it would definitely distract me.
Yeah. So, I don't want the viewers like, what's on her hand?
I'd be concerned for you too.
Yeah.
Like suicidal maybe. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you the story in a minute. But so I started wearing sleeves. So I'll wear a welding sleeve actually.
Oh, because there's not a special sleeve that's made for noodling.
I should market one.
Let's make one.
I know.
Let's have one.
That's like my dream, to make like hunting
Tess's sleeves
and sleeves.
Yeah,
for
that's your dream.
That's
one of your dreams.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
It's good to have dreams.
You have to. We all have different dreams.
Yeah.
So that's. So I also get bruised on my arms sometimes because I'll have my hand my arm all the way up to my shoulder will be in a hole,
in a rock or something.
Like in a rock hole, and trying to get the fish, because sometimes they'll back off a little bit, or sometimes it might just be such a deep hole that you have to go all the way in.
And so so I'm trying to picture myself. First of all, I was always taught never to stick your arm in a dark, deep hole in the water. You stay away from those areas. But let's say I do that and then there's nothing there, and then all of a sudden there is. Is that not shocking? Like, do you not automatically
That is, especially if you've never done it or haven't done it much, your initial reaction is to pull your hand back.
Right, of course. Yeah. Yes. So when was the first time you did this?
Well, I did it in 2012.
Okay, and this was for a news story.
It was for a news story.
And you had never done it before, and they were like, hey, go stick your arm in this rock hole.
Here's a really good idea.
Yeah.
And you said okay?
I was like, yeah, let's do it. I had friends growing up who noodled, and I was like, they are crazy. I would never do it. And then this opportunity came, and I was like, well, I guess I'll try it.
How'd it go the first time?
We didn't catch a fish. Oh. I did get bit by a teeny tiny little fish, but we didn't catch one. And so I wanted to catch one. And I was with another news reporter she's now in Oklahoma City. We were together on that news story. And so I was just explaining that to somebody while I was out on another story. And this guy's like, oh, I got a buddy that could put you on some fish. He was a lake ranger. So I trusted him. Like, I didn't think he was like gonna,
He wasn't just like an old drunk sitting on the sidewalk.
Yeah. Like,
hey, I got a buddy for you.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, not thinking like anything would come of it. And he sent a message like a week later. It was like, hey, if you girls still want to give it a try, like we can go this date. And I said, okay, yeah, we're going to do it.
Where'd you go?
We went to the lake, Keystone Lake. And the buddy is now my husband.
Oh.
My best catch yet.
Yeah. You went noodling for a husband. Yeah.
Well, what's funny is we both looked each other up online, and we were both like, no. We were not interested in the other
like before
at all.
you met?
Before we met.
Okay.
And then
but he did some amazing noodling and you fell in love with him.
Well, he hadn't even noodled yet. I just saw him like when he looked different. in
So
person.
like the first time you saw him, you were like, "Hey,
I was like,
baby,
oh my gosh, he's so cute." Yeah. Yeah. And
That's
so
so
then
cute.
we ended up catching fish that day.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you
then,
did.
Yeah. And
Got
so
more than-
Yeah, you did.
and he cleaned the fish that I caught and came over to my house a few days later and he fried it.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not only can catch fish, but he can cook.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. He's definitely a keeper.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
they say in the fishing world. There's just so many cliches.
So, out of all the things that we've talked about, so foraging, fishing, hunting, any kind of animal, noodling, what's your favorite?
Oh man, what season is it?
Really?
Yeah, I mean it's hard to pick. I really love noodling, of course. I mean it's just so different.
Is it just like the thrill of it? Do you get some kind of like
there
weird
is
like adrenaline
a
rush?
There's a super rush, and
I feel like you're one with nature because you're like using a body part to catch another
It's
animal.
It's
That
hard
sounds
to
gross.
explain. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's just there is a lot of adrenaline with it, and now I've been doing it now for this will be my 11th year to noodle, and I've caught a lot of fish in that time. I mean, a lot. Like you see some of the pictures I post, but I don't share every picture of every fish that we catch. So now it's kind of like we want to catch the big fish, so we may just leave the smaller ones. So
is there a season for noodling too?
There's a season where the fish are spawning. So that season is in Oklahoma. You might find one mid-May depending on where you are, but the best time is late May to early to mid-August.
Are you sober when you're noodling?
I think that's an excellent
Well,
question.
Thank you, Candace.
I will say that it takes some liquid courage for some people.
It would me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would, if I were drunk, I would probably be like, oh, put my hand in the
Do
But-
almost anything.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But yeah, no,
okay.
we knew.
So it's a drinking fun time.
It
can be a
and I
drinking
say
fun time.
it can be a great spectator sport.
Mm.
It's fun to watch people noodle.
That would be fun.
For some people. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but especially if you
That's
if
about
you
as
want to be
close as I'm going to get.
on the boat and you want to have a drink, and watch
Margarita
it.
and watch someone noodle.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
laugh and point.
But here's the thing: everybody says, "Oh yeah, I just want to watch,"
And then
and they get on the boat and they watch somebody do it, and they're like,
I can
not
do
even
that.
with alcohol. They'll just be like, "Well, I could try that. That didn't look so bad."
Has a fish ever taken you down? Because now I'm thinking like an alligator, like it's going to rip you down into the water and tumble you around. Like, what's the big one?
No.
How big is this big one that you're looking for?
Well,
the elusive.
So the biggest I've caught is 56 pounds.
How do you
My
do
God.
that?
Yeah. And it was in a shallower hole. So it was, I mean, like I could lift my head up and be standing up and
Lift your head up. Was
Well,
it
like
underwater?
Well, yeah, they're all underwater.
I mean, you have to go underwater to do this?
Mhm.
Your whole head?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sometimes.
You can't just like feel
Well-
around down here?
Sometimes you can
I mean, that's
in a
yeah.
shallower hole, but most of our holes are deeper.
How do you, with one hand, you pulled out 56 pounds?
So with that one, I used two.
Okay.
So,
So how does that work?
Okay. So the fish bites and I grab its lip.
Okay.
And then I run my hand down the side of its head, its gill plate, and then I kind of hook it in there.
okay.
And so then you want to push them to the bottom of the hole because you're taking away a little of their power there.
Yeah.
And then you pull them out and you bring them close to your body.
Okay.
Like you might wrap them up, or I usually have my hands kind of
Because are they like flailing
Oh, yeah,
around?
they're-
like, they're
especially
fighting
with-
you.
Really?
Or are they just like, hey, Tess, what's up?
there might be some there are some fish that are docile and don't do a lot of
Yeah.
thrashing, but then others that are like as soon as it's like they can see that light from out of the
Oh.
hole, and that's when they start like they don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you grab it
So
to your
I grab
body.
it to my body. I used to like wrap my legs around them if they were really big.
And then what do you just float to the top?
Yeah,
You just
well,
throw yourself
I
down?
my husband or my father-in-law. There's always somebody right there with me. I don't
Uh-huh.
ever
Okay.
rarely. will-
Don't noodle by yourself.
Yeah, I rarely do. I'm rarely out there on my own.
Tip to everybody. Do not
Yeah,
noodle by
exactly.
yourself.
Like
Noodling
little
by
tips here.
yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
Better done.
So you wrap your legs around it.
And then so usually my husband's there to like either
Yeah.
he'll help me out, and then we string it up and take maybe a picture
And then put it back.
and then we'll put it back, or if we're going to keep it, we'll keep it. But we don't like to keep any that are over 20 pounds.
Uh-huh. Are there rules to that? Like how
Oh yeah, there's lots of rules. So like
noodling rules?
you can't use a hook.
Okay.
You have to just use your
hands.
hands.
Okay. And
Okay,
is
so
it a certain weight that you can or cannot keep?
while we're on, we're gonna No, you do
take
it.
a selfie.
Yeah, I know. Only she can do this.
No, I
I'm like a
can't
big
always
idiot.
do it.
And we're taping.
Okay, so the rules are no hook,
Uh-huh.
hands only,
Uh-huh.
and then is there a weight that you have to put back?
So there are
or-
limits, and I'd have to look those
Okay, no,
up
that's
for
fine.
different, blue. So you used to not be able to keep or noodle blue catfish. So, and blue catfish, actually, they bite harder. They're meaner.
Are they rare?
No.
Oh,
Not really.
Okay.
No. But now you can keep those. So it's just, you have to look at the limits of what the fish are. I don't know what those are because we don't ever.
have you ever stuck your hand in a rock and caught anything but a catfish?
No.
Okay.
No, we typically know, and we go back to the same spots, So,
So they're just trying to sleep and rest, and you're just
no, they're trying to make love.
oh, they're having sex.
They're
time.
spawning.
Oh, they're spawning. That's
Spawning.
right. So do you get two at once?
Sometimes there are two in
Yeah?
there.
Yeah.
And occasionally we'll find a male that's on. So the female lays the eggs, and then the male stays in, and he does his thing on the eggs. And then the female leaves, and the male stays over and watches
You should
over.
have that background music. Let's get it
I
on.
know.
Yeah. So the male stays there, and the female
Yeah.
just goes and
But
runs around.
we've like I put my hand in, I'm like, oh, that's eggs, and so
You get
back
out of
out.
there.
Yeah.
We don't want to mess.
Yeah. Mess with
Yeah,
eggs.
so that
No.
more catfish,
No, we don't wanna mess.
more noodling.
And if we do catch a male, I mean, we try to put them back into the hole. We always put them back in tail first because we want to make sure they could swim straight out if they needed to. They should be able to turn around, but
You
they
don't want to
could.
get them stuck.
Yeah.
And have a
Yeah.
dead fish.
Yeah,
So when you go noodling, what time of day is this?
all day.
Oh.
But you can't noodle at night in Oklahoma anymore. And I noodled at night when it was legal once, and I was like, I do not like this.
Why is it illegal to noodle at night?
I don't. I have my theories, but I would rather not say them.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll
talk about them off air.
Off camera, yeah.
Okay, so this is an all day thing. So you
Yeah.
go out there in the morning.
Yeah.
You get out on your boat, you get drunk, you do some noodling, you keep some fish, you throw some fish back. And then, how many, like in a day, how many fish would you get?
Oh man.
I mean, I know it's very different. But like, what's the most, like 5 or like 25?
Oh, no. Like there was one day that we probably caught 50 fish.
All noodling.
Yeah, all noodling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But so how many, did you keep any of those?
I don't think we kept any that day.
Do you like catfish?
Yeah,
Do you like
I
to
do.
eat it?
Mhm. Yeah.
Is it always fried?
Generally, yeah.
Yeah.
But so with crappie, I bake my crappie. I have a Parmesan baked crappie recipe that is like
Yum.
so good that I don't want to fry it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Crappie's sweet.
But yeah, I like catfish, and I think blue cat tastes better than flathead, but I
feel
flathead
like
too.
you are probably like, when you go to the doctor for like a checkup, are they like, you were like the healthiest person I've ever seen in my life?
I just went to the doctor and all my things were good.
Yeah, because you're not, it's not processed food. It's not pumped with steroids or whatever to make them grow faster.
Yeah.
It's all natural.
It is all natural and it's affordable. I mean, I don't have a, grocery
It's better
bills
for
are-
you.
They're expensive no matter
Yeah.
what, even if you're not buying meat. But I don't have to buy meat. And unless I want a chicken dish, I never buy meat at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we eat our
Well,
even-
and it's good for the environment because so many of
course.
these species are invasive, and
Yeah.
you have to cut down the deer population,
Yeah.
otherwise they take over. So
And I mean, for deer too, conservation for them. I mean, if they become overpopulated, then they get disease, and
Right,
it's
right.
worse for them.
yeah,
And, it's a circle of life.
It is.
It's
It is a
necessary.
circle of
circle of
life.
life.
Yeah.
So on that note, that seems like a great note to say thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
being a part of our
having me.
podcast.
It
I'm
was
going
so
to have
fun.
to bring you some of my
Yes.
wild game and
And
my
your foraging
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
Yeah.
I can
yeah,
do
this
that.
was so fun. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It was
I'm
fun.
gonna say stay fresh.
Noodling bags.
I knew that was.
I knew you knew that's what I was going to say.
Do you finish every episode?